I want to share with you today some inspiration on managing and loving our small homes. When space is limited, it can sometimes feel overwhelming. There are days when the clutter, it just seems to multiply overnight, when every room feels crowded, and when you wonder how such a small space can somehow hold so much stress. But over the years, I have learned that there is also a special kind of beauty in making every square inch count. Embracing the charm and intimacy of a small home has taught me so much about gratitude, creativity, and contentment. There was a time when I thought happiness, it would arrive someday in the form of a bigger house. I imagined wider kitchens, larger closets, more storage, more land, more room to breathe. I think many of us quietly carry that dream in the back of our minds. We tell ourselves that life could feel calmer if we only had more space, more room for our belongings, more room for our routines, more room for ourselves. But what I have slowly learned is that peace does not automatically arrive with square footage. A larger home can still feel stressful. It can still feel cluttered. A large home can still feel lonely. And sometimes the smallest homes can feel the warmest. There's something deeply personal about living in a smaller space. You become connected to your home in a different way. You notice the way the morning light moves across the kitchen floor. You notice how comforting it feels when a lamp glows softly in the evening. You notice the smell of bread baking filling every room of the house. Because there are not endless hallways and giant empty spaces separating you from the life happening around you. Everything feels closer in a small home. Not just the clutter, and not just the laundry baskets or dishes or daily messes, but the comfort feels closer too. The warmth of a home feels closer. The quiet moments feel closer. Even the people you love feel closer. And I think that closeness can become something very beautiful once we stop fighting against it. I know how easy it is to become discouraged sometimes, especially when you spend time online looking at perfectly styled homes that seem spotless and endless and bright. It can make your own home start to feel small in all the wrong ways. Suddenly, you notice every flaw, every crowded cabinet, every outdated countertop, every corner that feels difficult to organize. But real life, it's rarely as polished as what we see on screens. Real homes are lived in. Real homes have dishes drying beside the sink, shoes near the doorway, blankets tossed over the couch after a long day. Real homes have tiny kitchens where meals are lovingly made anyway. They have narrow hallways, crowded closets, and little bathrooms and squeaky floors. But those things do not take away the value of a home. In fact, sometimes those imperfections are exactly what make a home feel comforting. Because perfection can feel cold, can feel distant. But a home that feels lived in feels welcoming. I think one of the biggest lessons small space living teaches us is intentionality. When you do not have endless storage or extra rooms to hide things in, you begin to think differently about what you bring into your home. You begin asking yourself what truly matters, what truly serves your daily life, and what actually brings comfort instead of stress. Honestly, I think many of us are craving that simplicity now more than ever. The world feels loud these days, fast, overstimulating. Everywhere we turn, someone is trying to sell us a better life through more things, more products, more decor, more organization systems, and more upgrades. But eventually, it all becomes exhausting. At some point, I think many women quietly reach a place where they no longer want more noise. They no longer want more pressure. They just want peace. They want a home that feels soft to land in at the end of the day. And peace rarely comes from owning more. Most of the time, peace comes from learning how to care well for what we already have. That is one thing I have come to truly appreciate about a smaller home. It teaches resourcefulness, gratitude, and creativity. You begin finding beauty in ordinary things. A clean kitchen counter, fresh sheets hanging to dry, a simmering pot of soup on the stove, the glow of warm lighting in the evening instead of harsh overhead lights. Little things begin to matter more. I think that's a gift, because life itself is mostly made up of little things. A quiet cup of coffee before the house wakes up, the sound of rain against the windows, music softly playing while dinner cooks, folding warm towels fresh from the dryer, opening the windows on the first warm spring day after a long winter. These moments may seem small, but they shape the feeling of a home more than expensive furniture or perfect decorating ever could. I think one of the reasons I've grown to love small space living is because it has forced me to slow down and become more thoughtful about the atmosphere that I'm creating here. In a smaller home, atmosphere matters deeply. Clutter affects the mood quickly. Noise feels louder, and stress feels heavier, but calm feels stronger too. A clean sink changes the feeling of the whole kitchen. A freshly made bed changes the feeling of the bedroom. And fresh air through open windows, it changes the feeling of the entire house. Small changes have a powerful impact in a small home. And maybe that is why small homes can feel so incredibly cozy when they are cared for with intention. They invite us to focus less on impressing people and more on creating comfort, less on perfection and more on peace. Because at the end of the day, the homes people remember most are usually not the biggest or the fanciest ones. They're the homes that felt warm, where they felt safe, and where they felt welcomed. And that kind of beauty has very little to do with size. People may forget many things in life, but they rarely forget how a home made them feel. I think many women underestimate the emotional impact of the atmosphere they create. We often focus so heavily on what needs to be done, and we forget to recognize what we're already doing every single day. We're building comfort, safety. We're building familiarity and warmth through tiny repeated acts of care. And that matters so deeply. There's going to be days when things do not go according to plan. Days when the laundry piles up faster than you can fold it. And days when dinner's late or the kitchen stays messy longer than you wanted it to. Days when you feel tired before the morning has even fully started. That's part of life. That's part of being human. I think sometimes we place impossible expectations on ourselves. especially now when we are constantly surrounded by images of perfection online. Perfectly organized pantries, spotless kitchens, beautiful homes without clutter or noise or exhaustion. But real homes are lived in, and real homes get messy. Real life is unpredictable. Honestly, I do not think perfection has ever been the true goal of homemaking. Perfection creates pressure, it creates anxiety, and it makes people afraid to rest. But peace is different. Peace leaves room for humanity, room for mistakes. Peace leaves room for tired evenings and unfolded laundry, simple meals on paper plates when needed. Learning to let go of perfection. It's been one of the most freeing things I have ever done for myself and for my home. Because when we stop trying to create a flawless life, we finally have room to actually enjoy the life we already have. I think there's something very beautiful about imperfection. A worn wooden table where years of meals have been shared. A faded recipe card stained with butter and flour. A couch of blankets tossed over the arm after a long evening. These things tell the story of a life being lived. I would rather have a home filled with warmth and life than a perfectly untouched house that never truly feels comfortable. At the end of our lives, I do not believe anyone will look back and wish that they had spent more time worrying about perfection. I think we will remember the feeling of home, the people we loved, the conversation shared in the kitchen while dinner was being cooked, the ordinary evenings that slowly became treasured memories without us even realizing it at the time. Each moment spent with the people we loved, truly it's a blessing. And I think some of us understand that more deeply after life has stripped things away more than one time. I often reflect on how I have been on my own since I was 16 years old. In many ways, my life has been a long story of just starting over. There have been seasons where everything changed overnight with no warning at all. Seasons where the ground beneath my feet suddenly disappeared, and I had no choice but to rebuild from the beginning again. Those experiences, they change a person. They change the way you look at home, the way you look at security, and the way you look at material things. I can still remember being 16 years old, trapped in an abusive relationship. I remember the fear, the uncertainty, feeling completely alone in the world at such a young age. And I remember the kindness of my manager who helped me escape by buying me a plane ticket. I left with little more than the clothes on my back. No packed boxes, no moving truck, no time to prepare emotionally. Just leaving and hoping for something safer on the other side. And over the last 30 years, there have been many moments like that, moments where life changed suddenly and everything familiar disappeared. Many times I've had to start over again with almost nothing. And many times I've had to rebuild a sense of home from the ground up. When things like that happen enough times in your life, something inside you begins to shift. You realize how temporary material things really are. Furniture can be replaced. Decor can disappear. Possessions, they can be lost overnight. The things we spend so much time worrying about can suddenly be gone tomorrow. And honestly, after living through enough loss and enough starting over, material things simply stop holding the same weight. That does not mean I do not appreciate a cozy home or enjoy making my space beautiful. I absolutely do. I love homemaking. I love creating warmth and comfort and peace inside these small rooms. But my definition of what makes a home valuable has completely changed over the years. A home is not valuable because it is expensive. And it's not valuable because it is large or because it looks perfect. A home becomes valuable because of the life lived inside it, because of the people gathered there, the love shared there, because of the memories quietly created within those walls. Some of the most meaningful moments of my life happened during seasons when I had very little materially. And some of the loneliest moments happened during seasons where outwardly things looked perfectly fine. That is why I no longer measure the richness of life by possessions. I measure it different now, by peace and by safety and by laughter, by warmth and by the people sitting around the table. I think when you have had to leave everything behind more than once, you stop attaching your identity to things, and you begin understanding how fragile life can be and how quickly circumstances can change. And strangely enough, that realization can make you more grateful for the small, ordinary moments most people overlook. And maybe that is why I hold homemaking so close to my heart now. Because homemaking is not really about perfection. It is about creating refuge. It is about creating a place where people feel safe and cared for in a world that can sometimes feel very unstable and uncertain. A place where warmth exists and where peace exists. A place where people can rest emotionally, not just physically. Even now, after all the starting over, all the uncertainty, and all the rebuilding, I still believe deeply in the beauty of home. Not because home has to be perfect, but because home is where love quietly lives. And in the end, I truly believe that is what matters most.